5 forecast, and this weather forecast is brought to you by some web hosting and domain names at ozsome.com. Tuesday weather forecast, a chance of snow flurries, and it'll be partly to mostly sunny today, about 35 to 42. Low 20s tonight, partly to mostly cloudy with light winds. Wednesday should be mostly sunny, about 25 to 32, and a chance of some snow showers on Thursday into Thursday night, mostly cloudy, and the temperature Thursday in the low 30s or so. Your life, your music, we're KLEK 102.5 FM.
From Feature Story News in Washington, I'm Priscilla Huff. The United Nations aims to cut petrol supplies to North Korea by 90% thanks to a fresh round of sanctions. Following elections in Catalonia, Spain's prime minister is open to discussing independence, but insists negotiations must take place in Spain. The value of the cybercurrency Bitcoin plummets from $20,000 to $12,000. U.S. President Donald Trump says he's making tremendous strides, starting with tax cuts.
It's 9:01.
KLEK LP Jonesboro, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council. It's now time for Community Conversations, a program focusing on the people working to make the Jonesboro community a better place, while offering viewpoints from all sides of the issues. The views expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of KLEK 102.5 FM, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council, or our underwriters or sponsors.
Good morning to everyone out there and happy Tuesday to you. I hope that everyone has had a very safe and warm Christmas and you're ready to start this work. I know many of us are getting back to work, so I hope that you're having a great start to your day, even though it's very chilly outside. As many of you know, we talked about this on Friday, that today starts the first day of Kwanzaa, so happy Kwanzaa to those that are celebrating. As stated before, Kwanzaa is not a replacement for Christmas. It is simply an extension of Christmas. And anyone from any ethnic group can practice and celebrate this holiday. So without further ado, we're going to get right into our topic for the day. My very special guest is Ms. Kathleen Byrd from Nettleton School District. So thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
And today, Principle 1 for Kwanzaa is called Umoja, and it means unity. I'm going to read you what it actually means. Okay, sorry, my computer. Umoja, or unity, means to strive for and maintain unity in the family, community, nation, and race. And just by sitting here having a conversation and reading some of the different information that Ms. Kathleen has sent me, she totally embodies unity, and she instills that in her children. The wonderful story she has to share is amazing. So I hope that you're ready for a wonderful show. I do want to also point out, thank you, Dr. Sharice Jones-Branch, for this information. Even though everyone from any ethnicity can participate in this holiday, it was specifically designed for the people in the African diaspora. History and context matter. I apologize, Dr. Sharice Jones-Branch. To backtrack a little bit on the history, it was created back in the 1960s as a way for African Americans to find some positivity in their life. There was a lot of things going on. There was the Watts riots going on at the time, and there was just a lot of turmoil in the Black community. And so the doctor who created this wanted to give us, our race of people, something to grab onto, to look forward to uplift us. So it has just really grown over the years. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get into our topic, but first I'm going to give you a little background about Ms. Kathleen. My computer course would want to run slow. I see that you have been teaching for 34 years.
Yes.
And 21 of those years have been at
Nettleton Junior High, yes.
Okay, so well, my thing is trying to open here. Okay. You're currently teaching a learning skills reading program to 7th and 8th grade students.
Yes, I
am.
So
tell us a little bit more about that class.
Well, the class is kind of deceiving because when you hear the words learning skills, parents and other educators think that it's a remedial class, but actually I've kind of turned it into more of a kind of a catch-all. It's reading, it's debates, and it's project-based. And each child at Nettleton Junior High throughout the Nettleton school system has a MacBook, and so we create projects that we are able to share with our school and our community.
Okay, and you have been showing me some of those projects before the show started, so I can't wait to definitely get into some of that as well. These programs have been in effect 15 and 6 years. Okay, I'm sorry, I skipped a line. You also have created or sponsor a mentoring program called Ladies of Distinction and Gentlemen of Knowledge. And so Ladies of Distinction have been in place for 15 years?
Yes, it has. The original name was like a Big Sister, Little Sister program. Okay. And then what we wanted to do was we kind of wanted to make sure that the girls that we're mentoring were kind of screened or vetted, I guess is another word. And so there's a process that they have to go through, and they have to fill out an application, and they have to be voted on. And so I have anywhere between 22 to 25 girls in the 8th grade, and they have, I guess what you would call little sisters that sign up for the program. And so we meet once a month. Unfortunately, we can't meet more because of time, but a lot of these bonds are made in 7th and 8th grade, and they continue throughout. I have girls that still communicate with their big sister or little sisters.
That is really wonderful. And so how did Gentlemen of Knowledge come about?
Well, Gentlemen of Knowledge actually started with another teacher in our school who used to teach at Riverside, or Rivercrest, okay. Rivercrest. And they had a Gentlemen of Knowledge program. And she was in contact with them and said, hey, I think this would be a really good program at our school. And nobody really likes to kind of jump in there sometimes. And the boys came to me and said, hey, you have a girls program. How about a boys program? And I said, but I'm not a guy. I mean, what do I know? Other than I have a son. And so what I went ahead and took a group of boys to Rivercrest. We met with them for a whole day. And so we took some of their things. And basically, our motto is live up to your name as a gentleman. And so I started the group 6 years ago, and it has grown. And most of the boys, they graduate quite successfully. And they are leaders in the school, on the field, on the court, in the classroom, in the community, in their churches. And that's not really the requirement that you have to be an athlete. I've had some that were not athletes, but it is being a role model and, again, living up to your name. And so we go to elementary schools and we kind of do different activities with elementary schools. We help out where we can. We do fundraisers. We have been sponsoring the Wounded Warrior program for the last 8 years, and that's not just my GOKs, that's my LODs also. We have a charity ball every year, and the last 3 years we've sponsored a father-daughter dance for K through 6, and that money is usually divided up. One of the organizations that we sponsor is Viola Turner,
okay.
Color for a Cause. We helped out a teacher who lost her home last year. We give to our school library because we feel that books is the pathway. It touches everybody. And so we can help our school too. But yeah, that's kind of what we're involved in right now.
All right, so I want to talk about some of your other accomplishments. I know you say you don't like to brag on yourself, but again, you are helping to bring together a number of children from different backgrounds and their parents as well, because their parents have to at some point get involved in these activities and projects that they're putting together.
Yes.
So you're bringing together students and parents, helping them see the bigger picture of the society and what work needs to be done. You have developed the mentoring. Okay, you developed those mentoring programs. You are working on an anti-bullying curriculum.
Yes.
And we see that is running rampant in our school. Bullying is, I'm not going to say it's an all-time high, but it's making more noise. It's making the news more. And so we need to see those numbers go down.
Well, as far as the bullying goes, that I've been working on that way before it became a national headline. And I guess probably because as a child I was bullied. I was very overweight. I came from I would not say a rich family. I did not have the clothes or the money that my friends had. And so I realized at an early age that to survive, you had to kind of either hide or be funny or, just kind of be nice. And that kind of got you a pass and you got kind of left alone. But always in the back of my mind, that stigma of being made fun of. And so I made it kind of my mission early on. And so I've had this opportunity in this program to kind of have the freedom to design my own program. And not only have I done a mentoring program every year with the students in front of the school, I took my Ladies of Distinction. I took 4 girls to Las Vegas. We were invited to go there and speak at the National Anti-Bullying Program there 3 years ago in June. Never go to Las Vegas in June. It's very hot. But we presented to a group of educators and psychologists and social workers and parole officers and police officers, and it was very, very well received. Made a lot of contacts, and then the following year I took 4 girls who happened to be in my class and did the anti-bullying program with me, wrote poetry, did the videos, but they were also Ladies of Distinction. So I took 4 of them to Atlanta, and we again presented at the National Girls Bullying Convention.
That is amazing.
And so this program, like I said, has been ongoing now, but presenting it to the school has been the last 4 or 5 years. And we seem to get better every year. I think every year, we can't do any better than that. And my students amaze me. They just, when they perform better than I say they practice. When they practice, I'm like, oh, this is not going to go well. And then they just amaze me. And the people that have watched us and heard my kids speak say, I cannot believe you've done this with 7th and 8th graders. But I'm telling you what, these kids are amazing. They're resilient. They just give them just a little bit and they will create amazing things. This year's program was probably, anti-bullying was probably one of the best. I do have a poetry piece here from one of my Hispanic girls.
Okay.
And if I could read it.
Go ahead.
This was one that blew my mind, and I honestly, and I told her this, I'm like, did you really write this? Because when I read this to you and to your viewers, they're not going to believe that an 8th grade 14-year-old girl wrote this.
Okay.
It's called The Life of a Hispanic in a Non-Hispanic World. Wetback, illegal, undocumented. A walk across the border as the blazing heat burns her skin. Only a dream and water can keep her going. Keep going. In the United States, everything is possible. Immigrant, stupid Mexican, Wiener, first day of school. Spanish was her first language, learned by the sweet stories told by her mommy and her papi. The beautiful language of her family would soon be forgotten. Her classmates couldn't understand her native language. Soon, mi nombre, as would change to my name is. She was taught to reject her language and be proud to call herself American over Mexican. Her Spanish pop quiz is so foreign that she can't seem to remember what comes after Luna. Her school friends make her hate her name. She would much rather have a beautiful American name like Tiffany. Go back to your country, they yell at her. As she walks the streets back home, she seems to sigh. It is not fair that illegals get everything and we get nothing. Illegals get everything? Think again. She gets everything when she pulls the weeds out of your garden, praying that her spine, that will feel better by tomorrow, just so that she can pull the weeds out for another rich family's garden. She gets everything when she walks thousands of miles across the city, selling cups of delicious fruit for 10 cents, fruit she will never get to eat. She gets everything when she works, getting less than $2 an hour, hoping that she can save enough money for her dream college while still having 3 hours of homework later that night. She soon grows up and graduates college, realizing all that hard work was worth it. She was a child of a dark past. Don't bully others. You put others in so much more trouble than they don't need. You think you know other people's lives? Well, guess what? You don't. It doesn't matter what race they are. No one deserves to be bullied. When you bully someone, you interfere in their path to success. While some are able to overcome your schoolyard taunts, others aren't. You ruin their pride, and you are the reason some cry at night. You might not care now, but when you find out someone's life ended because of you, you won't be so ignorant to others' feelings.
That is absolutely amazing. Wow. For her to put her feelings on paper like that, it's sad but amazing at the same time. So we will hope that through your program that you can reach more students, you can reach the ones that are bullying, and help them have a change of heart and a change of mind. Okay, so also I want to talk about, you help design the Holocaust and Civil Rights Museums each year, and you also won the Martin Luther King Lead Award from the MLK Foundation in Little Rock. Amazing. So this just goes right into the whole topic of unity. Again, you're taking students from different backgrounds and you're exposing them to other individuals' ways of life. The Holocaust and civil rights, those are two things that come up often in history. Some people don't want to talk about it, but we can't erase what happened. So tell us more about how you help the students get involved in these projects. What do they develop? What are some of the projects they come up with on their own?
Okay. Well, the Holocaust has always kind of, I guess, intrigued me, and I love history, so I try to combine the reading of books with the history to make it more interesting. And initially, we started out with the Holocaust, and I take my kids every year. My 8th graders go to Central High School every year. And so what started out as the Holocaust Museum, those 7th graders oftentimes sign up for my class as 8th graders. Okay. And so the civil rights part of it, as far as the museum and the presentation, came about because my former 7th, the now 8th graders said, hey, we did the Holocaust Museum last year, why can't we do a civil rights museum? And so really the kids took the initiative, and so for the past 4 years, my 7th graders simultaneously, which can be kind of daunting sometimes, we've got a hallway that is recreating a civil rights museum that much looks like the one in DC. And then our 8th graders try to recreate the civil rights from Memphis. And so the last 3 years, we've taken all the stuff that we've learned and the kids have shared, and we've put it together and created a civil rights presentation. So one whole week is a night of the museums. We do the Holocaust and the civil rights the same night. It will actually be March 13th this year. It's a Tuesday night at 6 o'clock at Nettleton Junior High. We start out in the cafeteria. All parents are invited. The community is invited. Our school board members sometimes come, superintendent, curriculum directors. Pretty much anybody that wants to come comes. Okay. And we start out there, and the kids kind of give a brief overview of what they've done. And then they go, they take a tour. Last year we had, and I shared this with you earlier, last year my kids said, it's too bad we couldn't get a hold of a Holocaust survivor. And I said, I don't really know where we would do that. So I kind of reached out to 7 or 8 synagogues in the Memphis area, and one called me back. A Rabbi Finkelstein called me back and said that in his synagogue he had former Holocaust survivors, and that he would be honored to bring them the night of the museum. So I really didn't give it a whole lot of thought. I reached out to him a few times through email, but that night he showed up with 5 Holocaust survivors. 2 were actually at Auschwitz, had the tattoos on their arms. 1 was a kinder transport, and 2 were actually from Greek heritage, the Jewish Greek, and they had hid out many years. All children, of course, all in their 90s. Probably got around better than I can get around, a lot of them. But they showed up that night, and it was amazing. They toured the Holocaust Museum. They were able to look at artifacts and pictures on our walls and poetry that my students had written and comment and actually say things like, I remember riding on the train, I was in that concentration camp. They also took a tour of the civil rights and commented on how that when they got to this country, they thought that they were in a safe, free country, and they could not believe how the African American people were treated during the civil rights time, because they were here. They were able to come here and migrate here, and so they didn't understand. They didn't understand how our country, a country with our history, would allow that to happen. And so as they toured the Civil Rights Museum, or in the civil, that area, they pointed to pictures and news articles and the burning of the crosses and the Black Panthers and the KKK and the Freedom Riders and Jesse Owens. One of them pointed to Jesse Owens and remembered the 1936 Olympic and remembered him. And it was an incredible night. I couldn't get my parents to get up to go see their children's museums because they were just so just mesmerized, I guess is the word. And we learned a lot. And I was invited after that to go to the Holocaust Remembrance Day in April to a big ceremony that they have in Memphis. And as I was walking in with my husband and my pastor, I ran into the couple that survived the concentration camp, and they said, "Arkansas teacher, there you are." And it was, they said, "We need to write your book." And I'm like, "My book? You don't need to write a book on me. I haven't done anything." But it was pretty amazing, and they've been invited back this year, and they've accepted, and so I'm hoping to bring them back again this year in March.
All right, so we're going to have to take a quick break, and when we come back, that's a really wonderful story, and I can't wait I hope I get to see them when they do come back. But when we come back, we're going to get into some of the questions that I sent you earlier and read some of the student statements on how you facilitate unity and what it looks like and what it means to you. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back with more community conversations after this break.
You're listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We'll be right back.
What do you want to be when you grow up? I'm Mark Merrill with today's Family Minute. That's the question children hear all the time, and we enjoy hearing their answers. A doctor, a teacher, a fireman, a ballerina. But what if the question was not about what they wanted to do for a living, but who they wanted to be as a person? Less about career and more about character. Imagine your child answering, "I want to be a person of integrity, of wisdom, of courage and conviction. I want to be patient, compassionate, generous, honest." Talk to your child about the kind of person they can become. It's okay to want your kids to have a good career, but it's more important that they have good character. Remember, your family first.
Family Minute is made possible by the Kappa Nu Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, a nonprofit organization committed to service to all mankind. Kappa Nu Omega Alpha Kappa Alpha on Facebook and KNOMEGA1908.com.
For almost 3 years, KLEK 102.5 FM has brought you the music you love on your radio, on your computer, and on your phone. Now, we want to bring the music to your party, wedding, or any event. KLEK now offers DJ services for all occasions with over 22 years of DJ and broadcast experience. We can also announce your event on KLEK. Need a photographer for that special occasion? We got that covered too. Package deals available. Book us for DJ, photography, or for both for your event today. Call 870-203-9951 or look us up on social media at KLEK-FM.
Karaoke and photo booths with a custom design of your event are also available.
KLEK thanks CJ Pepper and the staff of Life Strategies Counseling Incorporated for helping people through hard times in life such as depression, family issues, stress, abuse, and more. They offer counseling and therapy for all ages, individuals, families, and groups. They are located at 1217 Stone Street. Phone number 1-866-972-1268 or online at lscihelp.com.
KLEK 102.5 FM is giving you more praise. That's right. Starting Wednesday, January 3rd, KLEK brings to you All Gospel Wednesdays, every Wednesday from 5 a.m. till 7 p.m. Enjoy all of your favorite gospel hits and get your praise on all day long with Cheryl Underwood Radio in the morning, Brother Cobbs during the day, and Hezekiah Walker to take you into your local church Bible study. Plus, the return of the KLEK Praise Break. Lift up your hands, rejoice, and praise Him all day, all Wednesday, every Wednesday, on KLEK 102.5 FM.
Let us keep Christmas, holding it close to our hearts, for its meaning never ends, and its spirit is the warmth and joy of remembering friends. Merry Christmas and every happiness in the new year from Craighead County Tax Collector Wes Eddington.
Support for KLEK is brought to you by
Fullness of Joy Ministries, 2120 Thorn Street, Jonesboro, under the direction of Bishop Adrian Rogers and co-pastor Susan Rogers. www.fjministries.org.
And now back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
All right, welcome back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. I'm your host, Sheila Harden, along with my guest, Mrs. Kathleen Byrd from Nettleton School District, and we are talking about the Kwanzaa principle for day one, which is Umoja, or unity. And in the beginning, we were giving you a little more background about Miss Byrd and what she does with the school and how she gets the children to work together through her classes and different mentor programs. But now I want to take a spin and read some of the statements that the students have presented concerning unity. The questions that I sent Mrs. Byrd were: what are some ways you try to facilitate unity? What would true unity look like and feel like to you? What are ways we as a community can begin the process of increasing and or creating unity in the future generations? And then express some of the moments that you witnessed unity at its best. So I want to read a statement here. Of course, we're not going to give out the student's name. It says, we create unity by expressing ourselves and by speaking out. If you are from another country, express that, and maybe you can show someone something new. Unity is something that some people may hate or they may love. Some people don't like it because it is just like adding new people and they don't want to get along with other people. People like it because it is the opposite of that, and they like accepting new people for who they are. So can you tell us more? I don't know if you know what student wrote this.
Well, my classes, I've been blessed that they're very diverse, and these kids, not just diverse in color, but religion and home is diverse. A lot of kids, we take for granted that they all live in happy homes, but without giving out too much information, I have kids who write stuff about their parents in prison, their parents on drugs, alcohol abuse, foster care, they've been abused. And so, our classrooms of today look much different than the classroom of I've been teaching 34 years, okay. Much different. And so, first of all, I think when I get new students, I get to know who they are, and you have to build trust, and that's kind of how you build unity. Okay. Is they've got to know they can trust you, and they've got to know they can trust each other. And so we do activities that sometimes are uncomfortable to begin with, but one of the first things I do at the beginning of the year is I do what's called a Toast for Change, and I kind of stole it a little bit from the Freedom Riders movie. Okay. And, it's apple juice, and they come in, and it amazes me how free they are with what they want to change. And so we stand around the room with our little cup of apple juice, and they have to tell one thing. And I start because I think it's important that they see that I'm not perfect, that I have to change, and that I'm changing every day, and that I'm human like they are, and that I make mistakes and I'm not perfect. And so I start with all the things that, and a lot of times I have more than one thing I need to change. And we go around the room. And most of the time it's, I need to change my attitude, or I need to change how I treat my mother, or I need to change how I treat other people, or I need to change my grades are not good, or I need to change my temper. And I need to change how I look at other people. Sometimes it gets really deep. And so at the end of the year, they write in their journal after we get done what they wanted to change, what it meant to them, how they felt about it. They reflect on it. Sometimes they say, it was very difficult, it was very intimidating. Sometimes they say it felt really good because now it gives them a goal.
Okay.
And so that's just one of the ways that we start the school year. And then my classroom is different than others. We don't sit in individual desks, they sit at tables.
Okay.
And I move my kids around a lot. And sometimes they moan and groan, but they can never sit with the same person.
Okay. Wow. And that is helping them to get to know other people. And that kind of ties into this next statement. It says, actually, at first, I never wanted to work with anyone. I was very shy and I never liked to talk. But when I came to Miss Byrd's class, my classmates talked to me and Miss Byrd welcomed me like I was one of her students. Before, Miss Byrd made me think that it is good having friends around you, and I felt really happy and I felt comfortable. You asked us how Miss Byrd makes us do the project. So we do the project because we are friends and we are very comfortable with each other, and we're willing to work because we know it will be fun when you have friends around. So this person, like they said, they were very shy. They didn't want to work with anyone, but because of how the atmosphere that you facilitate within your classroom, they opened up and realized, okay, it's cool to make friends and it's cool to work with other people. So they were able to work on these different projects, whatever the project was.
We just finished, I sent you a lot of my 7th grade quotes, not, my 8th graders were kind of late getting their quotes in. But that we just finished a unit on China. They had to do it. We wrote a grant. The art teacher and I, every year for the last few years, we have written grants. That's how we kind of started the civil rights. We did one on the civil rights. We did one where we incorporated Paris during the Holocaust last year. We've done Egypt. We did China, and every year we try to pick a different area to, and so that was what they just finished working on. And that was kind of their first big project, kind of their pre to the Holocaust.
Okay. All right, so we have another one here. It says, we create unity in our class by all working together and not judging each other by how we look, act, and sound. So that makes it easier because we don't argue a lot. We play around some, but we still get our work done really efficiently. And it's a lot easier to get work finished when the work is something you actually are interested in and it's fun, which is what we do in this class. These are 7th graders.
Yes.
That
Yes.
is amazing.
Yes.
So you create an atmosphere where they look forward to learning. They look forward to working together, which is what unity is all about. We can do quite a bit individually, but we can do so much more together, which is one thing we talked about off air a little bit, about how there are a lot of organizations around town that seek to serve the needs of the people. However, some of their resources may be limited, and someone else may have a resource or connection that other one needs. I would love to see us working together more.
Yes.
To reach a greater number of the people in the community in which we serve, or that we're trying to serve. Okay? So go ahead if you'd like to share, what would unity look and feel like to you?
Well, I've thought about that question, and I guess the thing that I try to, impart on my students is, in our classroom, everybody has a voice.
Okay.
And you may agree or disagree, but that's okay, because we're all unique, and we all have the freedom to speak, but we also have to be respectful of other people. And I guess with me is I would, as far as the school goes, like us to have more of a feeling of that we are united, that we are more accepting of other people. And that's what I try to tell my kids every day. You know, we talk a lot of times when they come in. I have a bell ringer, bell work, whatever you want to call it, and oftentimes it is a question about something that's happened either in the news or in another country or in our community, and they respond to it, and then we discuss it, and everybody has a voice. From last year, the big one was the elections.
Okay.
And, you know, why to vote for this person, why not to vote for this person's this way, this way. And so I tell them that when we debate, that they have to make sure that they've done their research, that they can't just say, well, I heard. Well, where did you hear it? Where are your sources? Who are your sources? Where did you get that from? And so they have to make sure that any debate that we do, they have to be highly educated.
Okay.
And so for me, unity is just the ability. I think it's great that I can walk into my classroom and I can know that when I look around and I see every nationality, and I mean every nationality, and they're all sitting together and working together and smiling together and talking together and agreeing and disagreeing respectively together. That's unity for me.
Okay, alrighty. Oh, another statement pulled up here by another student. I think what makes us united or get along is because we're so used to each other and respect each other and are a mature group, but sometimes we can be goofy and act out because when we know something is important in a big subject, in a classroom full of diversity, and a classroom full of diverse, because we just see each other as equal. We don't really judge or laugh at people unless we say something funny, but once you get used to everybody, then it's easy to talk and share opinions. Wow. It's amazing to read these students. Again, some kids in that age group, it's all about me, mine. I don't know, some of them are self-centered, and some of them are only focused on whatever their small group or circle is, whatever their race is. There are some that are just going to stick to who they know and what they know.
Right.
I'm very happy to see these students are willing to step outside of that.
I have one here that I got last year that, great student, but you never really know the impact that you make. And I posted this I don't post a lot of things on Facebook, but I had to. I got this Christmas card, and this is a former student.
Okay.
And she said, Miss Byrd, I thank you for being one of the best teachers I ever had and the most caring. You've made me grow to be a better person. You've pushed me to do better when you knew that I could, and you still loved me if I messed up. You have made me realize so many things this year that I completely used to overlook. You've made me grow to be more thankful for my family. Sorry, my phone is messing up. And the things that I have. You have touched my heart in many ways. I will always remember your class. It's been one of the most moving and touching years with you. You and your class have definitely left a mark on my heart. Thank you for being there forever. Love you, Mama Byrd.
Oh, wow.
And a lot of them, that's what they call me.
Mama Byrd. That is super sweet. All right, we have one more. And it says, I want to share some things. If things we have accomplished as a class over the past 3 years, and use these today to discuss how we create unity within the... Okay, maybe reading this wrong. To discuss how we create unity within the classroom, school, and community. Okay, I'm guessing either they didn't have time to finish or finish their thought out. Maybe, the student and what they were trying to say.
Might have been one of my 8th graders.
Okay. They said they wanted to share some things. They didn't put a list. So.
Yeah, let me see if I can. I'm not sure if I can find it. You probably might want to move on to...
Okay, well, I just want to restate that today is day 1 of Kwanzaa, and the principle of the day is Umoja, which means unity, and it means to strive for and maintain unity in the family, community, nation, and race. So based on your experience, your work with your students, with the parents and other community members, what are some ways that we can start facilitating unity in the family, community, nation, and among the races?
Well, I have the 2 mentoring groups, and like I said, ladies of distinction. So we do try to reach out to the community. We do try to make contact with people. I think the biggest thing is time, and trying to, when people say to me, hey, I want to help your organization, or hey, I want to, collaborate with you, it's just finding that time, because there's still other subjects that they have to go attend. Okay. That my class is just not the most important one in their lives. And so finding that time. My kids are going to be involved in March for the Tacos for Life, which is a world hunger program. And I've signed them up, both the ladies of distinction and the gentlemen of knowledge. And so I tell them oftentimes just making contacts and doing the right thing will lead them for better things. Just reaching, giving them some kind of when they're filling out their applications, outreach is a good thing, and that will build unity, I believe.
Okay. Well, I would just like to encourage everyone, find some way today that you can practice unity within your family, whether it's husband and wives coming together, presenting a united front for the family, working together to build up your marriage, or working together to build up your family and provide stability for your children, whether it's a community coming together to help meet the needs of others that are less fortunate, whether this nation needs to come together. There's so much turmoil. A lot of it is political based, and I try to shy away from political conversations, but you cannot avoid it. So each one of us, no matter what you believe in, what party you support, let's try to find a way to be unified and put the best needs of the individuals who live in this country or any other country first.
I agree.
There's so much going on with these different bills and things that are being passed. Let's look at the bigger picture. What do the people need versus what some person wants? Look at the needs versus the wants.
Well, and I think that's been very irritating to me, because even going back to the former administration, they wanted to do some mentoring programs. There were some initiatives, and I wrote to the White House and said, hey, we've already got a GOK program in place. I mean, taking young men and providing them with opportunities to mentor others. But not just that, yes, they're good guys, but they need guidance too. So every week, Jamar Andrews comes in, and I've known Jamar for years, and he comes in and meets with my boys. And sometimes it's not just a GOK. Sometimes it's a boy who's just sitting there alone in the cafeteria, and I say, hey, why don't you come meet Jamar? And so he talks to them about being men and taking responsibility for your family and for yourself, and being a role model, and being a man, and being a gentleman to ladies. And so instilling in them to do the right thing and to be the leader in your family. And so if nothing else, if those boys will grow up to be good fathers and husbands and community leaders, that I feel like I've done my part.
That's awesome. Okay, and I want to also read a quote, and you say you are familiar with this quote as well. If you want to go quickly, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And this is an African proverb on unity.
Yes, we use that every year in our civil rights presentation. Every year that we have that at some point in our beginning or somewhere in one of the videos.
And I try to look at it as, one drop of water in, say, one drop in the ocean creates a ripple, but many drops can create a wave.
Right,
So
I agree.
Let's all find ways to work together to make this place a better place that we live in. Will it be perfect? Probably not. But we can start making steps to bettering the current situation.
You're right. And you asked me about the unity. any community people hearing this, or anyone that's connected with any kind of social work or counseling, or just anybody that wants to reach out, I encourage them to reach out to schools.
Okay.
And come to our school and become, you don't have to become a big sister or a big brother, but there are so many kids that need to know that they can be a success. Okay. They need to look at people outside of maybe their community, maybe where they live, because maybe where they live, it's not the best place, and they don't have the role models. And so I challenge many people of you're listening to contact me. I mean, I'm at Nettleton Junior High. I'm not hard to find, and any way I can use you, or you want to be used, I highly, a lot of people find me. Viola Turner found me. Jamar and I have just been blessed to know each other for years. I had his wife as one of my former students. Gerard Lockhart at ASU. I have had the pleasure of knowing him for years, and actually got to go to the university at the beginning of the school year and talk to wannabe educators about what I do, and I felt honored to do that for him. And so anytime that anybody has something that, hey, I'd love to share this with the school, but I don't know where I can, call me. Be happy to run it by my principal, and he's very open to, as long as he, it isn't just a surprise visit. He would be more than willing. We do a donut for dad and a muffin for mom. We did it in the fall, and we do it in the spring, and that's our way of getting our parents involved. I have a Christmas dinner every year for my parents of my kids, so every class period parents come in, and it just kind of gives the kids a chance to celebrate with their parents.
Okay, so we're going to get ready to take another quick break, and there was a little lapse. Okay, we're going to take another quick break, and when we come back, we're just going to wrap up and hopefully give some more encouraging words. And we'd like to thank everyone that is watching our live feed, and you can also give us a call. We have like 2.5 minutes left in the last segment. Give us a call at 870-277-1080, and we'll be right back after these announcements.
You're listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We'll be right back.
We're back with Money Matters. I'm Alfred Edmond Jr. Today, we're talking about the financial codependent. If this is you, you are clueless about your finances. If there is a budget, someone else, a parent, a sibling, a romantic partner, or spouse, handles everything, including paying bills. Financial codependents often go well into adulthood without ever paying their own bills, or even having a realistic perception of the cost of living. The dangers here are obvious. 1, being dependent on others leaves one open to being controlled and even neglected and abused by others. Worse, codependents are often devastated when hit with divorce, death, or other circumstances that takes away the person they blindly depended on. If this is you, it's time to grow up and take control of your finances. Balance your own checkbook, get credit in your own name, and pay your own bills. Plan your own financial future. I'm Alfred Edmond Jr. for Money Matters, a product of American Urban Radio Networks.
Money Matters is made possible by the Jonesboro Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, a nonprofit organization dedicated to uncompromising commitment to communities, service, leadership, empowerment. www.jonesboroalumnidst.org.
Money Matters is brought to you by Bancorp South, offering checking, savings, loans, credit cards, and wealth management. 5 locations in Jonesboro to serve you. www.bancorpsouth.com or 870-972-9800.
Meineke of Jonesboro is now Starks Auto Service, a full-service auto repair and vehicle maintenance center offering engine and transmission repair, brake service, tires, oil changes, and more, performed by ASE certified mechanics. The all-new Starks Auto Service, 2813 South Caraway Road in Jonesboro, 870-204-7112. Starks Auto Service, Jonesboro.com.
The Mu Omicron Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated was established on January 1st, 1977, originally serving Blytheville, Arkansas, and now serving Jonesboro, Blytheville, Osceola, Marion, and West Memphis, Arkansas. Today, the chapter continues to make an impact by focusing on Alpha's national community outreach initiatives such as My Brother's Keeper, A Voteless People is a Hopeless People, Go to High School, Go to College, Project Alpha, Boy Scouts, and the March of Dimes. The Mu Omicron Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated is committed to Alpha's mission of developing leaders, promoting brotherhood and academic excellence, while providing service and advocacy to the community. More information about the Mu Omicron Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated is available at MOL Alphas on Facebook or via email at molalphas@gmail.com.
Craighead County Clerk Cade Holliday hopes that you and your loved ones will enjoy the special gifts of this Christmas and holiday season. The gift of love, the gift of peace, the gift of happiness. Christmas and the holidays are not only a time for spreading a message of cheer and goodwill, but also a time to say thank you to the citizens of Craighead County. Merry Christmas and happy holidays to you from Craighead County Clerk Cade Holliday.
During the holiday season, there's so much to be thankful for and so many moments to cherish. The barbers at Amazing Fades would like to take this opportunity to thank you for your business throughout the year and extend their warmest wishes for a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you and your loved ones. That's Amazing Fades Barbershop at 3915 East Nettleton, Suite M in Jonesboro, Arkansas.
From the KLEK Community Calendar, the Ministers for a Better North Jonesboro presents Community Fifth Sunday Service at St. Paul Missionary Baptist Church, Reverend Perry Jackson, Pastor, 716 East Washington Avenue in Jonesboro. The service will be Sunday, December 31st, 2017 at 6 o'clock p.m. The speaker will be Reverend Elijah Agnew, pastor of Carter Temple CME in Jonesboro, Arkansas. Song and praises will be performed by the community choir. The public is invited.
KLEK is starting a new fundraiser which will allow listeners to donate to KLEK while buying groceries. KLEK is a part of the Kroger Community Rewards fundraising program. When shoppers visit a participating Kroger and scan his or her Kroger Plus shoppers card, a portion of the savings goes back to KLEK to help keep it on the air. Details on how to sign up for the program are available at KrogerCommunityRewards.com and at KLEKFM.org. This is a KLEK fundraiser.
And now back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
All right, welcome back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We have just as great a conversation off air as we do on air, so I can't thank Mrs. Kathleen for joining me today and sharing her thoughts on unity and her experience with her students. Thank you to your students for sharing their words and what unity means to them and how you have taught them what unity means. And again, if you would like to learn more information about Kwanzaa, go to the official Kwanzaa website, which is www.officialkwanzaa. Official Kwanzaa. I'm sorry, let me pull it back up here. In the meantime, go to the official website so that you can learn more about the different principles, what they mean, how it was started, why it was started. It is www.officialkwanzaawebsite.org. And again, this was started by Dr. Maulana Karinga in the 1960s. During that time, there was a lot of things going on. The Watts riot in California was going on. It was just a lot of upset and turmoil for the African American community. And he created this as a way for them to find some positivity in a world full of negative things going on. Of course, it hasn't gotten like 100% better, but I think over time, many more people have grasped onto the concept of Kwanzaa and what it means and what the different principles mean, and have tried to incorporate these principles into their daily lives. And like I said before, yes, it was created for the African American people. I feel that people from all ethnic groups can practice the principles in their everyday lives as well. And I feel like that's how we're going to grow and heal as a nation if we all can come together and learn and practice these principles. Before we go, I want to ask you, what are some ways that you've seen unity displayed at its best?
Oh,
well, kind of on the spot question.
Yeah, unity at its best. Probably the hurricanes that affected Texas and Puerto Rico and many, many small towns, and just watching the people helping other people. To me, that was a moment where it blew me away, because it wasn't just helping your neighbor, but it was just helping people you didn't even know. And to me, that's coming together as a community, as a state, as a country. And my students, I was so proud of them, because they came to me and said, what can we do to help them? And so we sent $200 we adopted a school in Texas that had lost everything at their school. It had flooded. They were moved, and we sent it to a school there. And then we reached out to Puerto Rico, and we found a school there, and we sent them $200. And so, to me, that's how you're helping someone. You don't even know these people, and you're coming together and reaching out and wanting to help. So to me, that was a moment, watching it on the news, and not just sitting there on our hands and going, oh, that's too sad, that's too bad for them, glad it's not us. It was reaching out and having kids want to reach out and help.
And you saw a lot on the news that people were trying to help save people out of cars,
yes,
and buildings.
Yes.
They didn't care what race they were, what age they were, what gender. No. They just helped people. Mm-hmm. It was about the human race. It was about saving a life.
Right.
That's amazing. So, in the upcoming year, what are some ways that you're going to try to instill this same principle into your students?
Well, I think just continue to work on the programs that we're working on, make them bigger and better, reach out to the community like we're doing, invite people to come and see what we're doing. I've encouraged and reached out to schools and said, hey, if you want to come and see what we're doing, if you want to talk to us about what we're doing, if you want to come and visit, if you want to come to our programs, our museums. And so, that's one of the things, just kind of make our program grow. We've been to Las Vegas, we've been to Atlanta to share our program, but it costs money to do those. And it's money taken away from other things that we can give back. And so my kids have said, even though they paid for a lot of it themselves, they're like, maybe we would be better served to stay here and to give back instead of us going, maybe have people come to us. And so that's kind of what our mission is. And my kids just finished the anti-bullying program, and I'm taking all of their poetry and we're going to try to put it into a book, and we hope to get it published so that, if we can't just reach 500, maybe we can reach 5,000 or 500,000 kids, and they'll want to read these books that other kids have written, because, you're not alone. You're never alone. There's always someone like you.
And that'd be a great fundraising option to help fund other events that you all would like to do. I can't see someone not supporting that project. Why would you want to own a piece of something that comes from the heart of the kids? Right. That is amazing. So we thank you so much for joining us today, and I hope this won't be your last time.
Well, thank you for having me.
Visiting us here at KLEK. And I just want to say I hope that everyone has a very great day. Take some time to practice unity in the small area that you live in. You can start with your own home, your church, wherever you work. Find a way to facilitate unity wherever you are. Again, today is day 1 of Kwanzaa, December 26th. If you'd like to learn more, go to the official Kwanzaa website and learn more. Learn the different principles and practice those throughout the week. Thank you for tuning in, and join us tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you for listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM, a program focusing on the people working to make the Jonesboro community a better place while offering viewpoints from all sides of the issues.